Here with my girl Jillian. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. So you had a busy weekend, huh? With Super
Oh
Bowl and
yeah,
everything. What
Super
was that?
Bowl in Vegas was crazy.
So what was that like? Like what all went down there?
Honestly, there was just a lot of parties going on. I feel like Vegas kind of gives you a reason to celebrate everything. Just anytime you come here. So we have the
Hmm.
pregame, we have the Super Bowl, we have the after party, and
Right.
then you're kind of just running everywhere, like trying to get to different places and be on time at the same time.
Right. So like what is it you do? I know you like model. But what kind of model is it that modeling that you do?
I honestly would say I just do a little bit of everything. Like whatever anybody throws my way that I'm comfortable with, I'm totally down to shoot it and do it. I just recently did a shoot for Donnie's Devil, and that was pretty fun. And then I got to kind of freestyle and do whatever I wanted in there too. I really like doing lingerie. I feel like I just exude confidence, and
Yeah.
if I can put that on my platform, I'm definitely gonna do it.
I love it. You know we have a few of those coming up as well. The
Oh yeah, I'm
lingerie
excited.
shoots.
LA next weekend.
Yeah. So what's the craziest shoot you've ever done? Like,
Honestly, I would just say my most recent one. Like this was probably one of the most professional shoots I have been a part of, like in my career thus far. We got to shoot with a bunch of exotic cars and a bunch of different photographers. We were doing drone shots. We did like a runway shoot. Like there was a lot going on. It was definitely like a mass production of people, a bunch of girls running around everywhere. So that was
I love
awesome.
it. I love
Yeah.
it. And like, what's your background? Like, what got you into like the whole modeling scene?
So getting into modeling is actually a newer thing for me. So I had started dancing just here in Las Vegas, like in all the gentlemen's clubs. And I just think throughout my experience there, I had gotten opportunities to shoot for all these gentlemen's clubs.
Hmm.
And then, I use those pictures to put them on my platform. And then I've kind of just grown myself from there, like just Instagram has really been a big thing for me in social media. It's like the growth I've seen just in a nightlife setting is
Right.
crazy. You meet so many people. Like I would have
Okay.
never thought my life would have turned out this way.
That's a good thing, right? It's a good
Yeah, it's an
thing.
awesome thing.
Yeah. And what kind of like? How long have you been dancing?
This will be my fourth year dancing this February. And I don't think I ever want to like look back.
Hmm.
The growth it's given me and just like the opportunities it's brought me has just been like life changing in like all the positive ways. But like dancing can definitely be taxing as well on your soul and your body physically. So it's definitely a love-hate relationship too.
Yeah. Now you say like it can be taxing on your soul. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, just like women working in a male-dominated field, and then like that's already a common thing I think we see just in America in general, and then you want to do it in an atmosphere where women are like half naked, we're sexy, we're hot, like we're
Right.
in vulnerable conditions, so like sometimes men are really aggressive, sometimes men are just like horrible tippers, like just a bad experience, like managers are rude to you. It can go like the whole nine with that, but it can be like one thing after another and like hurts a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah. How do you handle that? Like, just like emotionally, especially like when you're dealing with, just ignorant people. Like, because well, I'm assuming like you got to have like a strong, self esteem in order to do something like that. But
Yeah,
how do you handle? How do you
you
handle that?
need to have some confidence in just like the dancing and modeling world, I guess, because it kind of applies to both. But I don't know, for me, like I just at the end of the day, like I know who I am, like I know what I can bring to the table. I'm very confident with myself. Um, and I don't know, I feel like one of my biggest outlets has probably been like yoga and working out.
Hmm.
Um, that's just self-care in general. So that just kind of hits all the little tasks, because
Yeah.
you're in a new environment, you're doing something healthy for yourself. So I think that's a big thing, but just like making sure I take the time to address my self-care and then like come back when I feel ready.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, especially like with the yoga. I'm pretty sure that gives you not only like that flexibility, but also like the sense to kind of just bring yourself back to life.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
yoga has definitely changed my life because I feel like nobody really wants to work out. I mean, like it's hard, doing hard things people don't like to do, but I feel like yoga teaches you to put yourself in uncomfortable positions in order to like really control how you feel because it's not as bad as we all think. We just don't like doing things we don't want to do.
Yeah,
So
that should look
that's like
painful.
what I've learned on a bigger scale with yoga. It's like itself.
Yeah, yoga looks. How long you been looking doing yoga? That shit looks painful. Like every time I
Oh,
see somebody,
I
like
have been doing yoga for so long. I used to work at a yoga studio. That was one of my first jobs, and I think like I didn't even know what yoga was when I had worked there in the
right,
beginning. And then I took a class and it was hot yoga. And the room is like 110 degrees, 120 degrees. It's
damn.
50% humidity. It's so hot and uncomfortable. But oh my gosh, consistently I've been doing yoga for like 3 years now.
Wow, so you're pretty flexible, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
crazy. Well, you gotta be, especially like, like dancing and even with modeling, you gotta have that
Yeah,
that
you get
sense
put
of
in like
flexibility.
crazy positions all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So what you say, you also like gym, like what's your gym routine? What background you have with that?
Well, as an adult, I'd say I work out pretty consistently. Now I'm doing like 5, 6 days a week. I come from a very athletic background, so I feel like I'm used to just high intense workouts, like which is why I'm okay with the heat and then like,
Hmm.
lifting a bunch of weights. Like I kind of do a lot as far as that, but in like a grand scheme of things, I've like always worked out my whole life. So I feel like if I don't work out, I'm gonna go crazy.
Right. Hey, I'm the same way. Like I gotta do something. Like the day that I just like that rest day, I feel weird.
Right? Like I go on
Like
a walk or something,
yeah,
some excuse to like put some leggings on and run around.
yeah. And you have like strong legs too, like big strong legs. Like, did you like you just put some work into your squat game, your leg game, or is it like natural?
I would, jeans play a big part in it.
Yeah.
However, like I feel like I've really developed my own shape by
Hmm.
hitting legs at least 3 times a week and
Damn.
lifting me, eating protein, eating healthy is like a really big thing for me too. Like I'm kind of picky in that department as far as like I don't eat fast food, I don't drink
Hmm.
soda,
Yeah.
all that.
That's so. What else does your diet consist of? Like no fast food, no soda. Is there like other things that you cut out of your diet?
I really do try and stay away from like the red 40s and the blue whatevers, like anything
Hmm.
that's like super artificial like that or just super full of sugar. You know, I'm not perfect though. I definitely have like a weakness for some Red Bull or like something like
Hmm.
that, but
Yeah.
just for the most part, I try and keep it pretty clean. I eat like, almond milk, like protein shakes, yogurts, bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, and now you're also from Vegas, right? I always wondered, like, just what I hear about Vegas is like it's a small knit, city, especially if you're from Vegas. Like, so what were things like for you, like growing up to Vegas, especially like, if you're dancing and stuff like that, do you like know a lot of people? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure like a lot of the traffic that you guys get are probably tourists, but outside the tourism, what is Vegas like?
Vegas is definitely a small knit place. Like I feel like growing up here, everybody knows everybody. Like all the high schools, like all play against each other. And then you go into
Hmm.
college. Most people go into like one of the universities here, like community college. So you kind of just end up like growing up in different stages of life together. And I didn't realize like how that was like so important for me like going into nightlife because when I went into nightlife I was like meeting people who like I knew went to other schools like when I was
Yeah.
younger and like all this, but it's like you may have heard something about somebody before and then you meet them as an adult and you're like, we're all adults now, like
Right.
damn, like, we don't really care. We're just all trying to get to a bag. We're all trying to be happy,
Hell
like
yeah. Hell
it
yeah.
is. Yeah, I feel like a lot of dancers here in Vegas mostly come from out of town though, so like going into that nightlife setting, like a lot of like the security was like all of our local dudes, and then like all
Hmm.
these dancers, bottle girls, whatever, are like girls who've moved here from out of state or anything like that to like just make some money.
Yeah. Do you feel like that gives you like an advantage because you're like actually from Vegas? You kind of like know the ropes.
Honestly, no. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of a dog eat dog world. Like, to a certain extent, it can definitely help, like, with who you know and, like, what type of, venue they work at, whatever job you're trying to get into, like, that is always going to be there if you know some people. But other than that,
All right. Now, let's kind of get into like relationships because it's like what is like the dating life like or have has been for you, like especially like being a dancer and being into modeling. What has that been like?
well, I don't know. By choice right now, it's difficult for people to probably talk to me because
Yeah.
I just am not focused on like certain things like that right now. I don't know. I'm in a position where I don't feel like I can handle somebody else's emotions.
Yeah.
Same time, like I also know I'm a lot to handle, but it's like I don't regret how I am right now at all. I'm a great place. But
Right.
I think that like, you know, doing the type of work that I do, like the OnlyFans and the dancing and the lingerie modeling, stuff like that, like it can definitely make a lot of men feel really insecure, especially because some of these guys are photographers who I'm gonna work with, and
Hmm.
I'm in a little sexy outfit. So I don't know. I just feel like confidence is a big thing. And it's like if you don't have confidence, then you're not gonna make it with being
Yeah.
in the dating world here.
Have you ever like dated a guy or something like that and just knowing that you modeled and things like that, you can kind of like sense the insecurity within them?
Oh, for sure. And even like,
Yeah.
financially too. Like people
Right.
think strippers make $1 million every night and
Yeah.
some don't even leave with $1 every night. So like I think, working in the nightlife, like stripping and dancing and all of that, like it can definitely apply pressure onto men in a bunch of
Yeah.
unequal ways.
But even in Vegas, they're not like what is that like? They have to like pay the dance or something like that. And Vegas is very lucrative. So I would think like if you're dancing in Vegas, like you get into that bag. That's what I would think.
A lot of people would think that. I feel like a lot of people definitely think that. So the world is kind of misconstrued in like the financial department, I would say.
Hmm.
But like a lot of people don't know that dancers have to pay to work every night either. So
Hmm.
it's like we're paying to work every night. Some girls are charging different prices than other girls. And, one price that I may charge is some guy's going to tell me to go fuck myself because he's like,
Right.
that's, I would never pay that. But
Yeah.
it just depends on like who your clientele is. I guess if you're like bouncing around from club to club, there's definitely higher end clubs in Vegas and there's definitely lower end clubs. But just depending on your vibe and who you are, you can make money anywhere.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
like is OnlyFans pretty productive? Is that a pretty productive platform? Because you hear the stories, you go on to TMZ and you see like such and such, you got an OnlyFans and they just kind of like just went hard and making all this money. Is it really like that?
It definitely can be. I was pleasantly surprised with the first time I dropped my OnlyFans
Mhm.
because, people can kind of hide behind a username on there. So it's like,
Yeah.
you could be sitting next to somebody who literally sees all your freaky shit.
That's crazy. So have you ever got like any stalkers? Like even if it's from, OnlyFans or the club, have you ever like encountered like yeah.
Yes.
Give us a story. Give us a
Yes. Oh
story.
my gosh. There's some crazy ass stories. So like, okay, so Instagram is probably like a big platform that's tied into my work for
Hmm.
exotic dancing and all that. So like I've bounced around from, city to city. Well, just pretty much between LA and Vegas, like for work and whatever. But like I've been on, multiple clubs pages and the picture gets shared. So people like will follow me from anywhere.
Right.
Well, I was working at a club here in Vegas one time and I had a guy come in and like asked for me by my real name, like, cause he don't know my club name.
Right, right.
So, and then they ended up finding me because, it's whatever. Like, I have Instagram, it's tied into my other job. It's inevitable people are gonna call me by my real name.
Right.
But we ended up talking and he was just like, I'm from, a different state. I want to bring you to my state. Like, anytime you want to come out here, let me know. I'll come pick you up and drive you out. And like he was just like holding my hands
Ooh.
intensely across the table, staring me in the eye, like really trying to see into my soul. And then like
You like, let go, let go.
I'm like, give me my hand back.
Yeah.
But then I ended up like getting requested for like another dance or something like that. Like I ended up having to like leave the table. But like when I was leaving, he thought like another guy was calling me over and it was like the security guard for the club that I work at
Yeah.
and he worked there too and like he got really upset at
Wow.
whoever like was trying to say my name and then he like looked me in my eye and he was like, I will hurt anybody who is going to talk to you.
Wow. See, those are motherfuckers you gotta watch right there. Those are the ones
Oh,
who end up.
for sure. And I like literally asked him, I was like, oh my God, like what's your Instagram or whatever, like send me a message.
Mhm.
Like had him send me a message and I took him off of everything. Everything, I took him off everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If you're gonna be weird, you're gonna get your privileges revoked.
Right. So it's like a sense of safety too that because you like, what I'm saying, you working, you dancing, you just doing your thing, and you don't know it could be a crowd of weirdos that's
You
followed
like
you on
never
social
know.
media.
Like and that could be taken good. Like you never know who you're gonna meet. Like someday you could be meeting like Wiz Khalifa or somebody
Hmm.
else, like some big ass celebrity. The next day you're meeting your stalker. So
Right. That's
yeah, there's
crazy.
definitely a whole safety precaution there. And I think all women probably should be in this industry, like it's crazy. We're working late hours, like we're
Yeah.
just exposed. It's as much as it is fun and crazy and cool looking, like, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. All right. Now tell me the coolest story that you've encountered. Well,
Ooh. One of the coolest stories I have, I started working at Spearmint Rhino here in Las Vegas. And this is like a year and a half ago now, probably 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And it was like my first month there, like I had was like having a hard time in the club. Like I just was not fucking with it at the time. And then just, crazy shit out of nowhere happens and freaking like Wiz Khalifa and like a couple other rappers came in and they like get this whole private room. 'Cause Rhino has like a whole separate room for like celebrities that they can just have a celebrity party. And
Oh,
like
that's
not
dope.
even the public would never know that they were there. So yeah, we were all dancing in there. Wiz Khalifa was throwing money, like everybody
Mhm.
smoking weed in there, drinking, have a good time. Like every girl left with a freaking bag.
That's
And it
what's
was like
up.
the most money I had made in that club, like in that time. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, okay, this is great. This is great. And I just got to meet Wiz Khalifa. I cannot talk, but damn.
Hey, that's super dope. That's super
Oh yeah,
dope.
it was awesome.
And do you ever encounter like, especially like being from Vegas, and you were saying like, you'll run into like people that you ever like encounter like a sense of judgment from maybe it can even be like from people that you've known or
Oh,
family.
for sure. Like
Yeah.
I would consider myself the black sheep of my family and just like
Yeah.
of my friend group because like I feel like I'm the most outgoing and crazy and just down for anything.
Hmm.
But there's definitely some judgment with behind what I do and like, I can't expect everybody to understand, like only we can see the end goal for our own vision, right?
Yep, you're
So,
right.
I don't really let it bother me.
And I feel like this, it can be, I mean, you can be, I don't know, like driving the trash truck. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers gonna find a reason to judge you.
Always gonna have something to say.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't care too much because at the end of the day, I live the life I want to live and I'm happy with everything I do. Like if I
Yeah.
died tomorrow, I would not have a single regret about my life because I
Hell
lived
yeah.
to live it.
Yep. You lived it, you chase your dreams, all
Mhm.
that. But that's one thing I noticed, like people be like, man, you just don't care. I'm like, I used to care, I used to care, but sometimes like, caring what people think, it'll hold you back from, chasing your
Exactly.
dreams.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then I also like one thing I strongly believe in more so now as an adult than I did when I was younger. Like in even with my closest friends, I apply this. It's like a listening ear is also a running mouth. So
Right.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
sometimes venting about your problems isn't the best thing for you. Like sometimes you got to just really handle that shit on your own. Like you
That's
really just
true.
have to figure it out. And I think that like if you can get through that, that can set you apart from everything else in your life, and just take you on a whole different track.
That's true. 'Cause I know, like me, like just running running business. I go through so much bullshit in the back end. I was telling somebody the other day about all the sometimes it's not even me. Sometimes like I'll post stuff and it's just like people are messaging me talking shit about like the models I work with and things like that. And I take that offensive. I'm like, that's my fucking team.
Yeah.
So so like I go through so much, but like I just deal with it. You just learn to deal with it because at the end of the day, it just make you go harder. And obviously,
Find your crowd of people, like I've
yeah,
had more strangers support me than some of my closest friends.
hell yeah, same here.
It's always going to be like that.
Yeah, it's always for some reason like the people who don't believe in you are not gonna always be the ones who's next to you.
Exactly.
Mm. So what's next for you? Like, what if you had to like envision your life 10 years from now? What would it look like?
Oh my gosh. 10 years from now, I hope that like, one, I'm just financially stable. Like,
Hmm.
I think everybody just hopes for financial stability. But on top of that, like, I want to own a couple businesses. I'm in the process of, building my own brand and all that right now. So I'm just hoping that maybe it's my retirement plan, but like, I hope I'm just still hot and sexy too.
You would be, and you didn't tell me about you building your. You have to tell me about that on the back end. I didn't know you were.
Right now, we're slowly talking about it. So it's going to be coming here soon. I promise.
All right, you gonna let me know about it when
Yeah,
start popping
you're
off.
gonna know everything when all the paperwork is signed.
I love it. I love it. And you're like you come from you have like a corporate background as well.
I do. I
So
actually used to work in a law firm, and I still run social media for a law firm in my free time. So
that's
it's just
so
been nice
dope.
to like expand into different realms of work. Networking is a great thing, great tool to
It
have in your
is. It
life.
is.
You never know what type of position you're gonna be in and when you may need it.
Yeah. And I'm sure like working in the clubs that's a huge networking opportunity as well because you meet
Mhm.
like some people who's well connected when you
Exactly.
that's pretty dope. So what about just modeling in itself? What is that like in Vegas? Is there like a lot of opportunity? I know like Vegas have like ton of events. So is there
Mhm.
like individual opportunities or it's more like just for events?
So I would just say like so LA and like New York, places like that are mostly I would feel like a lot of print work, like you're doing photo shoots all the time, like you're modeling for brands and stuff like that, which I do feel like Vegas definitely has its own little population of. But a bigger population of modeling in Vegas is a lot of the atmosphere modeling.
Hmm.
So this is like I feel like a newer term because I had never heard of atmosphere modeling up until
Yeah, it's kind of new. Yeah.
who's done it. But it's yeah, like pretty much like you get booked for like conventions or just different events where people can just look at like a catalog of girls who have done events before and just pick from there.
Hmm.
And it's kind of just I don't know, it's a little weird right now, but I think it's just because it's newer in Vegas.
Hmm.
Like modeling in Vegas is way new. Like unless you modeled for a strip club, you didn't really like model because we
Right.
don't have
Yeah.
any big corporate brands here, like anything like that, but Vegas is definitely on its way up, like, and there's a lot of changes coming in the industry. Like, I think it's all going to be really exciting.
What kind of changes are those?
I just feel like new nightlife is coming. We have a
Hmm.
bunch of new sports teams coming, new casinos, like we have like the Universal Horror Nights thing, but like Universal could lead into them building a freaking movie production studio here, and then now we're gonna have studios to shoot in and all that. Like Vegas doesn't really have studios to even go do photo shoots in unless you
Wow.
contact
Really?
directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're really shitty fucking studios to start with.
Hey, well, if you think about it, like everybody's leaving LA because like just the taxes and the cost of shooting is so high.
Oh
And
yeah.
what's the next closest big city? Vegas, right? So I mean, Vegas is gonna be like I can see Vegas being like a huge production
Oh
area.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we have the space for it, which sounds
Hmm.
crazy I know everybody complains about the traffic, but Nevada's national flower is like the traffic cone anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but
See, you're gonna make me open up a production studio in Vegas. It's gonna be so lucrative. Yeah.
yeah, it will be for sure.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for taking the time out. This was a good conversation.
Oh,
We're gonna have to keep this going.
yes, for sure.
All right, Jillian. All right. That was good.